So I guess to start out with, is Gray Matter anything, a personal story? Is this something that comes from family or anything like that? Where does this come from?
Yeah, so the writer is actually working as a military nurse on dementia wards during the pandemic. And she wrote the script and sort of drew from experiences that she had when she was working on the wards. And she also drew from family experiences too. And I have also dealt with it as well in my family too. So when I first read the script, I was kind of looking for a project for ages for my debut. And I wanted something that I thought was important, a story that kind of really spoke to me, and also something female-led. And yeah, Elizabeth sent me her script, and it was the one. and yeah, I definitely can relate to it as well. So I felt like I could bring something to the project and sort of offer the story something in that way. Yeah.
Very nice. I'm curious with this cast, how did it first come about? I mean, Stephanie's performance is one amazing note, but finding your Chloe, I mean, this is an incredible cast.
Thank you. So I did all the casting myself. Mm-hmm. So it's a big cast and fantastic talent, and we're a very small film as well, so I'm very grateful to have such amazing lineup. Stephanie, of course, was a big role to fill because obviously Alzheimer's is a very difficult it's a challenging role. It wouldn't be for everyone, and I just really saw Stephanie in the role of Peg, and offered her the role. Hoped that she would like it. It's not what she normally does, and she kind of really leaned into that. She loved that aspect of it, and it was important to her as well. And the same thing happened with Eloise. I love her work. She's fantastic. She's very talented, and we really got on as well. And I just I'm aware of a lot of the great talent we have in the UK, and I just chose who I thought was right and hoped that they would like it, and the project would speak to them like it did, and luckily it all worked out, and they all said yes, let's do it.
So I won't ask what the spiciest curry in Suffolk is, but I'm curious what your favorite curry in Suffolk is.
Favorite curry? Well, I did actually eat curry in that curry place that we shot at, and I'm pretty basic, to be honest. It's chicken tikka masala for me, but I'm a big curry fan. It's actually an interesting thing about the curry thing. So the script, as I said, was written by a Canadian writer, Elizabeth Hrib. So the script was actually originally Canadian and set in North America. And so when we first decided we were going to do it, I had to sort of change it to English, and that was one of the things. I'm trying to remember what it was originally. I think it was hot wings. So the curry actually used to be hot wings, and then I was like, what's the kind of equivalent that we have in England? And everyone loves a curry, so went with the spiciest curry.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm curious, you said it was, it's a small independent film. Where did you shoot and for how long?
So we shot in Suffolk.
Okay, so it really was Suffolk. Okay.
Yes, it was in Suffolk. Tiny town called Southwold, and beautiful.
It's a lovely pier.
Yeah, so I sort of had this vision of where I wanted the film to be set, and I sort of mapped out mood boards and color palettes for the film in the sort of development and pre-production process. And then, obviously I live in England, but I clearly don't know my country very well, because I sort of put all these images together, and I was like, I don't know if this place actually exists. I sort of thought maybe Brighton, but it didn't feel. I wanted somewhere smaller, somewhere more intimate, because I think for Chloe's journey, she's struggling, she's battling with symptoms of depression, but as a teenager she doesn't even really know what they are, and this is sort of a new and confusing thing for her, and she's getting frustrated. And there was something in having Chloe living by the sea. It just sort of spoke to me, and it felt right, because it felt like she would maybe feel more isolated as a character, isolated in herself as well. And I just thought that kind of really worked. And then I wanted a really colourful place, and I was pinks and all the colours that you see in the film, because I sort of wanted the juxtaposition of a colourful world versus Chloe might have an amazing life, she's got a great family, she gets fired but from her job and all these things, but it's like there's nothing wrong with her life, but she still feels the way she feels. You know, she lives in this great place, it's colourful, it seems great, but that's not how she feels on the inside. And so I wanted to sort of lean into that. And then I discovered Southwold exists in Suffolk. So my prayers were answered, and then, yeah, we shot there.
I love the houses, the color row that we get. I'm curious, you say it was an independent shot, but some of your aerial shots, the lake shots over the water, talk to me about this shoot. I feel like this is way better than just a little independent film, the way you shot it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was, as I said, it was a very small independent film, so we had a lot of challenges. We also shot during COVID, so that was really difficult as well. Yeah, in terms of the shoot, I mean, yeah, we have some beautiful aerial shots. I think we had some support from some local filmmakers who helped us out with the drone photography, which was amazing. And yeah, I'm so glad we got those shots because I think they're beautiful. Cinematographer Stuart White, he's fantastic, and yeah, he loved the script just like I did, and yeah, really worked amazingly with me to sort of to bring the project to life. But it was a really difficult time to shoot, to be honest, because post-lockdown there were so many projects backlogged. Everyone's, you know, wanted to shoot their films because no one's been shooting for so long, and because of that everyone was working and there was no crew available, and particularly for a small film, you know, people have bigger jobs, so it was really tricky. And you know, and then we had some scheduling issues because of COVID. We had to extend the shoot. I think it ended up 23 days with this post-scheduling. So it was originally meant to be 18, and so very, very tight. But one of our actors, Kirton, who plays Sam, he got COVID, and so he had to isolate, bless him, for several days in accommodation alone. Poor thing. Felt very sad for him. So yeah, it really extended the shoot. But you know, it got to the end, and I think there was 3 crew members that were there from the beginning. I had to totally recrew. You know, we started off with a 2-camera setup, but we ended up stripping back to 1 because we were dealing with very tight locations, and it just practically, you know, made sense. But we had other cinematographers coming in on different days as well. So you'll notice there's 3 cinematographers in the credits. So yeah, Paul Mackay and Daniel Colditz came in on a couple of days too. So yeah, it was a lot, particularly for a small film. But yeah, I'm proud of what we did.
I'm curious, did you get any rehearsal time, or especially with the two of Stephanie and Eloise? There's so much nuance in their together roles. How much rehearsal or time did you get with them?
A day.
Wow, really?
Yeah, a day. We had one day where we did a table read, and everything else we had to do on set. We just couldn't afford it at the time, and all the time had to be allocated to shooting. So I would have to rehearse the scenes on the set, you know, before we shoot each scene. And yeah, I mean, I kind of, because that chemistry really worked, you know, it's amazing to see, and they had such an amazing bond, you know, they still do, talking about Eloise and Stephanie. And, you know, when you've got that sort of magic, you kind of let that relationship blossom in a way. And so I tried to do that and just give them as much time on their own. They'd have a blast, you know. And but then when it came to rehearsal, I had to rehearse the scenes, and it ate into a lot of shooting time, you know, because they'd change things, and I wanted to give them the freedom to do that. It wasn't the kind of shoot where everything was storyboarded, locked. We shot, you know, to every single shot, like shoot to every single shot, because I changed it all on the day. It's difficult for the DOP to handle, but he, you know, obviously did amazingly with it, and we got it all done. But yeah, we didn't get much rehearsal at all. Yeah,
that's incredible. Their bond is amazing.
Thank you.
I've got to ask about the music choices. I love some of these songs. I love how they go to character even. I feel like it starts with Chloe and then it moves. I'm curious. Music choices and also the score. It's very subtle too.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think Peg is an eccentric character, and so I wanted to convey that in some of the musical moments with her, and also sort of lean into the comedic side as well a little bit with that in some of the song choices. And the same with the score as well. You know, it's subtle, but yeah, it's sort of, guess it has a journey, in the same way the story has a journey, and reflects Chloe's, her struggles and her relationship with Peg as well. So I worked with the composer to sort of build different themes for each relationship. So you'll see that when Peg is introduced, and then there's a little theme for that. There's a little theme for the love interest between Chloe and Sam. There's a theme for everything really, and so it's sort of kind of working on that so it all feels like it's cohesive and works.
The meetings that are taking place for the family members of those dealing with Alzheimer's, did you go to any actual meetings, or did you take any perspective, or did she, when she was writing this, because it felt so raw and fun and real? I love those scenes.
Thank you. So I did a lot of research into those groups. I didn't actually physically go to any myself, but Elizabeth, has been to them, so there was that to sort of draw from. And just always trying to keep it as authentic as possible, and touch on one of the points of those help group scenes is also to try and sort of teach the audience a little bit as well about Alzheimer's. It was a sort of way of doing that, putting information in about it, which I think if people watch it, they will genuinely learn about Alzheimer's,
including your title.
Yes, Grey Matter, exactly. Yeah. So there was that aspect of it too, and of course with all that comes research as well, because you need to make sure that everything you're saying is correct. Lots of research was done into that as well.
Now that you've done this feature, what were the things that surprised you in the process, but also were happy surprises, not negative ones?
I guess surprising, I suppose you always think that it's going to be a challenge, but when it's a small film, it's always going to be harder than you think. But happy surprises, happy surprises I think were the cast, and how much fun they had as well, and the chemistry I think between all the actors was definitely maybe not a surprise, but that was a sort of happy moment. I was like, yeah, that works, great.
I love that you picked Naples for the U.S. premiere. I'm curious, what is it about this type of town that I think fits? Visually, it works to some extent, but I'm curious, picking this place to come to, what does it mean to you to be here?
You're right, there's definitely parallels with Southwold. I think this is, much bigger, and the beaches are better. But the exec producers are based here, so they've been raving about the festival for a long time. I can see from my experience so far, it's amazing. So very excited for the premiere shortly. I think it's a great home for it, and we'll see how it goes.
Lastly, anything you can share with what's next, or where people can keep in touch? We want to see more.
Amazing. So obviously this is a US premiere, and we'll be looking to release the film next year commercially. So just keep an eye out on all the socials and more festivals to come.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.